says there isn't a singular reason for the lack of listings in most markets when adjusted for population growth, which we always go over here in
Right.
Florida. The number of new homes built in the U.S. has consistently declined since 1980s.
Let's go where all the sellers have gone. I mean, I still don't even. I'm curious to see what this article is about because I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at it. Because to me, I don't know, man. I still talk to people out there, and I don't know where have they gone because there's still a hot market.
Well, it's not. So this is the thing: it's not. There's no sellers. It's that there was already a lack of inventory.
Correct.
So now with interest rate, this is coming from our conversations, me and you, when we were talking about interest rates, and you were saying like, oh, I have all this built up equity. So that's what people look at. They go, oh, I have a house. It appreciated 30%, but if I sell, right, I have my house right now with a 2.25 interest rate fixed for 30 years.
Right.
If I sell that to get that $200,000 of equity out to go level up to another house, well, now my interest rate's going to be 5.6. So do I want to, level up to a bigger house, but I'm also going to level up to a bigger payment.
Agree.
In a longer time,
Yeah,
so
I would
can
agree with that.
refinance back down if it ever comes back down. So there's not less. So people are less to go out and just sell. So that's putting pressure on people,
right,
to put their house on. So a lot of people are just backing off, going like, it was easier 6 months ago to say, with your wife, hey, let's put our house on. Look at the market's on fire, fuego. You know what I mean? So robust, everyone's buying, it's appreciating. Come on, let's go. And it was a lot easier to go and sell when you knew that you're going to get that. You could go right back into a low interest rate. Times have changed, environment's different, interest rates are up. And people are hesitating on doing that, and they're kind of want, okay, I'll sit back and I'll take that lower payment, lower interest rate, fixed for 30 years. That's one bullet point. The other bullet point is that inventory is already super low. So if you have low it's not that the sellers are gone, and it's not a bad, like, that's just a headline, right?
Yeah,
because it's
a reaction. Like a lot of people. Like you and I talked about
and
it.
it's affordability now, too.
It's affordability. I'm going to use myself as an example.
Please
My
do.
interest rate is low, right? Why would I want to sell and go where and pay a higher interest rate? Well, I'm in a different situation. I'm no longer I'm not in that position where this is my first starter home. So if you're somebody who has a starter home, then you're obviously looking to move up and go to the next stage of your life, or your career. Well, not career, your life, right? Well, if you haven't, I personally think that if you're in the lower tier, median household price point, maybe but slightly below it, and this is your starter home, you're still going to have, those sellers are still going to be around. What you may not see, and I would agree with you there, somebody like myself, I'm not in a starter home. I'm in my primary home. I don't see myself going anywhere. Christ, they may bury me in the backyard for all I care. I'm not going anywhere. But that's where you're going to find there's still some of that available. I think that's going to, no matter, regardless of interest rates, you're still going to have that because people are going to want to upgrade as they advance in their career.
Well, look, they said, like the article states that during the pandemic, people gravitated to houses. More space.
Of course.
Right? So that put pressure on
and you also have people coming from out of state.
Well, that's a good point because it says that, says there isn't a singular reason for the lack of listings in most markets when adjusted for population growth, which we always go over here in
right.
Florida. The number of new homes built in the U.S. has consistently declined since 1980s. Demand that exploded during the pandemic was further exacerbated by rising rents, which created additional competition by luring some would-be tenants into the housing market. The hot rental sector has also attracted institutional investors who have spent billions during the pandemic buying up single-family homes in bulk and converting them to rentals.
Right.
So that money has flocked into that area as well.
I would agree. And what you're also going to find is people who are getting
Blackstone and
tired.
stuff.
Yeah, you're going to get people also getting tired of the 20% increase, 30% increase in their
For
rent.
what? For rents?
Yeah. So they're going to gravitate towards, I'm willing to pay a little bit more interest rate. Well, they're not willing to pay. It's there. That's not negotiable to find a home, whether it be, something within their, within, like I said, below the typical median market. But what's happening is, it's like anything else. It's supply and demand, right? If you have 20 to 30% rent bumps, at some point somebody's going to look at it and say, if I'm paying $3,000 a month in rent, I should be able to afford a house, right? I think if you're paying $3,000 a month in rent, you can easily afford a $500,000 house.
$3,000, $500,000.
Yeah.
I think it's more.
You think it's more?
Yeah,
Well, the point I'm getting at is people get one.
I'm not sure, but
You might be right, but there's going to come a point where people are going to get tired of this rent escalation, which is going to drive them to finding a home.
But they might get tired. But just because they're getting tired of rent escalations, they might not be able to find a house. And
Yeah.
see, people. They were also talking about like FOMO, which was like people out there paying too much for a house, paying over for a house, because people would go into the market and say like, okay, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, buy this area, buy this school, and then they lost their first one, and then okay, we'll find they lost the second one. Now by the time the third, fourth house,
Oh, I know people in the seventh.
but
yeah.
they're not. It's not even a house that they want, and now they're putting in more money that they care to pay. So they're just appreciating that just because they want. It's FOMO.
Yeah,
You're
eventually,
missing out on buying something. Like
yeah, it's a perfect storm right now if you think about it. You have rising interest rates, you have increase in rents, you have sellers backing out.
it says sky high home values might seem like an incentive to sell, but brokers say they're actually preventing homeowners from listing. Suddenly, the cost to move got a lot more expensive. It's making people say, "Hey, I think I'm going to stay here for a bit longer and see what happens."
Right.
Sobin said that the only 1.5 months worth of inventory remains in Chicago, and it's fallen to just 1 month's worth in suburbs, down from 1.2 a year ago. In the past, I represent more sellers. Now I'm definitely representing more buyers, she said, adding that businesses for many brokers has slowed recently.